Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strangely hollow, as if someone had reached into your chest and quietly stolen a piece of your peace? The smile was warm, the words polite, yet something in your gut whispered that their kindness was too precise, too rehearsed. Manipulators move like shadows, flattering when it suits them, listening not to understand but to gather, mapping your fears and desires as if they were keys to a locked door. They don't want connection. They want entry. The Stoics saw this long before the word manipulation existed. Marcus Aurelius warned that those who lean too close may be the ones to guard against. Evil is not always sharp or loud. More often it is subtle, wrapped in charm, patient as it waits for the moment you lower your guard. But here is the good news. You are not powerless. There is a way to meet cunning with clarity, deception with stillness, calculation with quiet strength. Tonight, we walk that path together. Stay with me. There are truths here that may change the way you see people forever. As we step into the first chapter, picture this. A crowded room, voices rising and falling, and one quiet observer standing in the corner, eyes sharp, listening more than speaking. That silence unsettles people who crave control, because when they cannot read you, when they cannot find a loose thread to tug, their power begins to slip. Yet how often do we, in the name of honesty or closeness, hand over the blueprint to our most fragile places? We confess too much. We reveal what keeps us awake at night, what memories haunt us, what failures still sting, and the moment we do, we place our fears in someone else's hands. Now imagine your deepest worry, whether it is failure, rejection, or being misunderstood. Hold it up like a fragile glass vessel. To someone who cares, it's something to handle gently. To a manipulator, it's a weapon. They don't need fists or threats. All they need is to know which word will make you hesitate. Epictetus warned us, it's not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. And what does a manipulator do? They study those judgments. Find your fault lines and wait for the right moment to strike. Let me bring this closer with a story. A young architect wins his first independent project. For years, he carried the heavy shadow of his father's disapproval, a father who never respected his creative path. In a casual moment years ago, he confessed this fear to an older colleague. When his success was finally announced, that colleague approached with a smile that cut like a knife. "This is big, don't mess it up. I heard your dad's still not impressed." Nothing changed in the world outside, only a few words spoken. But inside, the young man collapsed into doubt. Not because of the project, not because of reality, but because someone weaponized the fear he had given away. That is the trap. Your fears are not harmless whispers in the dark. In the wrong hands, they are tools of control. And when you overshare, when you pour out your insecurities without pause, you arm the very people who will use them against you. The Stoic does not harden his heart into stone, nor does he play the fool who hides behind bravado. He chooses discipline. He reflects before revealing. He weighs his words with intention. He listens more than he speaks. He responds, but he does not react. Ask yourself before you share. Will this confession build strength, or will it open a door for manipulation? Will the one who listens carry it with compassion, or will they tuck it away for calculation? Many wear the mask of a caring ear only to later tug the exact string you laid bare. Your fear of abandonment can become their leash. Your fear of conflict can become their silence weapon. Your fear of being misunderstood can drive you into endless explanations until you are exhausted. The disciplined mind observes quietly. It does not trade every feeling for display. It endures the storm without showing its fractures. Marcus Aurelius counseled, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Extend that wisdom here. If trust has not been earned by action, by consistency, by respect, then your fears remain locked inside your citadel, not because you are cold, but because you know their weight. And how do you build this discipline? Through daily reflection, through the hard labor of sitting alone with your thoughts until they lose their power to command you. Journaling sharpens awareness. Silence toughens the will, and above all, self-inquiry. The simple but relentless questions. Why do I feel the urge to share this? Am I seeking approval or am I building strength? Is this confession a step toward growth, or is it only a plea to be comforted? A man who can face his fears quietly without announcing them to the world becomes untouchable. Because when your fears no longer rule you, neither can those who would use them. Picture the moment when someone tries to corner you with guilt, shame, or sly reminders of your weakness. Instead of panicking, you meet them with stillness. No excuses, no flustered reaction, just calm. That unreadable calm unnerves them more than any argument ever could. For when they cannot predict you, they cannot control you. Understand this clearly. Mastery over fear does not mean you never feel afraid. It means fear no longer dictates your choices. It means you hold the reins. Most fears, when examined with reason, dissolve like mist under the morning sun. And even the ones that remain lose their sting when you choose to act in spite of them. This is Stoicism in its rawest form. To act from principle, not impulse. To move forward with strength, even as anxiety whispers otherwise. So when someone comes with gentle questions, when their curiosity feels too sharp, you do not shut them out with bitterness. You remain kind but alert, grounded in self-knowledge, yet not exposed, because the more mastery you hold over your inner world, the less sway the outer world has over you. Life will always bring people eager to touch your vulnerabilities, to test your defenses. The wise man does not become stone, but he does build a fortress within. The gates are not closed forever. They open for those who prove themselves worthy. And only then, the next time someone reaches for your emotions as if they were strings to pull, remember you owe them no panic, no confession, no needless explanation. Let them tug and find nothing. That is mastery. That is power without noise. That is the beginning of outsmarting, not by resistance, but by inner command. And once you've built that fortress, once your fears no longer rule you, you are ready for the next challenge, learning how to disarm their tricks before they even begin. And that is where our path now turns. Moving into the second chapter, imagine standing in a marketplace of voices, each one louder than the last, each demanding that you believe, that you act, that you follow without pause. Truth walks slowly but lies sprint in circles around you, wearing masks of sincerity. In the blur of impressions and headlines, the danger is not the noise itself, but how quickly you let it guide your steps. Manipulators thrive here. They don't need to raise their hand against you. All they need is for you to surrender your judgment, to accept their version of reality without stopping to ask if it deserves your trust. Now feel that moment when someone leans in with sympathy that feels a little too polished. Their words slide smoothly, tailored to your insecurities, crafted for your hunger to be seen. They don't win with strength, they win with belief. Your belief handed to them before you even noticed you had given it away. Epictetus warned us not to outsource our judgment. If someone slanders you, he said, respond calmly. He was ignorant of my other faults, or else he would not have mentioned only these. It is in that pause, that narrow space between hearing and believing, where your freedom lives. That space is sacred. Let me show you what happens when it is lost. Joel worked in a small, tightly knit firm. When Marcus arrived, new and confident, he carried charisma like a cloak. In weeks, he learned every corner of the team, their doubts, their ambitions, their frustrations. He approached Joel with lines crafted to flatter and wound at the same time. Management doesn't see your potential, but I do. They're blind. Joel believed. He confided in Marcus, shared fears he'd never voiced aloud. Soon Marcus added more. Rumors of betrayal, whispers of stolen credit. Joel's trust eroded. His bitterness deepened until one day he exploded against his team. Only then did he realize the trap. The stories were false, the conflict manufactured. Marcus never had to fight him. He simply planted seeds and let Joel's belief grow wild. That is the danger. Once your perception is hijacked, your actions follow like a shadow. When you believe without scrutiny, you hand over the keys to your inner world. A Stoic mind does not reject belief. It chooses carefully, deliberately. It asks, where is this coming from? What does this person gain if I accept it? Is this fact or merely assumption dressed as truth? Belief should move like a craftsman's hand, slow, steady, testing the grain before carving. For if you build your life on someone else's words without proof, you have abandoned the one power Stoicism demands. You guard your judgment. Truth is patient. It doesn't panic. It doesn't rush. Scream in urgency. Demand action now. Whisper. Don't think, just react. That is your cue. Pause. Breathe. Say, no, I will wait. I will observe. I will test the roots before I climb this tree. Marcus Aurelius described the image of a rock battered by waves, unmoved until the sea falls quiet around it. That is the picture to carry. Become the one who does not flinch at every sound, who listens but does not absorb, who allows words to wash past until only what is solid remains. Remember this, manipulators fear clarity more than strength. They fear the one who does not leap to agree, who calmly withholds reaction until evidence is undeniable. That mind is unshakable. That kind of presence cannot be led by strings of emotion. Ask yourself in quiet moments, am I believing this because it is true or because it feels good to believe? Am I reacting because I trust the source or because I fear the discomfort of questioning it? Each time you resist the pull of easy belief, you reclaim ground. You move from being led to becoming the chooser. That is freedom. Look at the world around us. Social media thrives on exaggeration. Headlines are sharpened to provoke, not to inform. Even those closest to us sometimes speak more from bias than from clarity. The survivor, the one who thrives in such a storm, is not the one who knows everything, but the one who is not easily convinced of anything. Slow belief becomes armor. Calm doubt becomes strength. And when urgency and flattery press hardest against you, you will be the still one who waits, who chooses, who cannot be moved by noise. So let others rush into faith. Let them be swayed by charm and fear. You, the Stoic, will stand rooted in reason. From that stillness, you will see the game being played. And the sixth way to win is to refuse to play it at all. This is where we leave the clamor of lies behind and step into the next weapon in your arsenal. Not words, but silence. For when you learn to protect your mind from deception, the next challenge is mastering the quiet that unnerves and disarms more than any reply ever could. And that, my friend, is where we turn next. Advancing to the third chapter, picture this. The room is alive with laughter, glasses raised, hearts lifted high in celebration. You feel untouchable in that moment, wrapped in warmth, as if nothing could shake the ground beneath your feet. But it is precisely here in the sweetness of joy that your guard is at its lowest. And those who watch from the shadows know it. They wait not for your darkest hour, but for your brightest one, when delight blinds your reason and celebration leaves your defenses thin. Now imagine Elias, a man who had finally won his dream role, a creative director at a firm he had long admired. The world seemed to open before him. Friends cheered, family beamed, colleagues shook his hand with respect. Then came the old acquaintance, the one who slipped into the gathering with practiced warmth. This is your moment, he said, and I have an opportunity too perfect to share with just anyone. Elias, flattered and still glowing with victory, agreed before the ink of joy had even dried. Months later, he found himself robbed not only of money, but of trust. Trust in others, trust in himself. What failed him was not his ability, but his lack of pause. He believed that success in one realm meant fortune in all, and that is exactly how manipulation enters through the open door of unchecked happiness. The Stoics saw this danger clearly. Seneca honored a grateful heart, but he also warned that no emotion, even joy, must overthrow reason. Anger leads to words we regret. Joy, unchecked, leads to agreements we regret. Both are storms if not steered by principle. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the mind must stand steady like a fortress. Whether in sorrow or triumph, the command must remain the same. Act by reason, not impulse. Think too of Olivia, a young woman newly engaged. Compliments showered her like petals. Amidst the glow, her fiancé's brother leaned close. Now that you're part of the family, perhaps you could help us. Just a small loan between us, she agreed, reluctant to tarnish the sweetness of the moment. But the request grew, the debts lingered, and when she finally resisted, she was painted as selfish, the villain in her own story. Joy betrayed her discernment, just as surely as grief can betray resolve. Here is the truth. Manipulators often prefer your happiness to your sadness. In sadness, you guard yourself. In joy, you want to believe. You want to share. To spread the glow, to say yes so the feeling never fades. That is when you are most pliable, most likely to hand over time, energy, or trust without question. Joy is not the enemy, but when it rules unchecked, it leaves you exposed. The Stoic practices another kind of joy, one that is deep and steady, rooted not in applause but in virtue. It is a joy that does not demand witnesses. It celebrates quietly without surrendering judgment. It knows how to savor a moment without assuming every door that opens is meant to be walked through. It asks simple but piercing questions. What am I agreeing to? Who benefits? Would I choose this if I were not lifted by emotion? These are not cynical doubts. They are acts of wisdom, the anchors that keep triumph from turning into downfall. If you have ever made a choice in the glow of happiness and later tasted regret, you are not alone. We all have, but we are not condemned to repeat it. The next time a victory comes, a raise, a promotion, a new love, pause, breathe. Let the celebration wash through you, but do not act until clarity returns. I have used a practice that may serve you too. When something excites me, I write down the opportunities it creates. Then I wait 48 hours before saying yes. If the idea still shines under calm light, I proceed. If not, I let it fade. That single discipline has saved me from countless regrets. Joy is meant to be savored, not squandered. The disciplined mind knows that timing matters, that clarity follows stillness, and that true confidence is not shown by saying yes to everything, but by having the strength to say, let me think about it. A pause does not kill joy. It protects it. It ensures the memory of the moment stays bright, not stained by regret. So celebrate fully, but act carefully. Let happiness fill your heart, but keep your mind steady in command. For joy is safest when it is rooted in virtue, not impulse. And when you master this balance, you turn your happiest days from traps into triumphs. From here, the path leads deeper still. For beyond guarding your joy lies another challenge. Learning the quiet power of protecting your silence, especially when others demand an explanation. And that, my friend, is where we now turn. From here, let us step into the fourth chapter, where the warm smile of help can hide the cold hand of control. Have you ever felt that weight, that subtle reminder whispered into your ear? Remember what I did for you? What looked like kindness begins to feel like a chain. What was once a gift becomes a hook. And if you don't know where your limits stand, someone else will place them for you. Manipulators understand the power of indebtedness. They do something small, seemingly generous, and then they wait. They know decent people carry gratitude like an open tab, always ready to repay. Reciprocity is noble when genuine, but when twisted, it is nothing more than coercion. Stoic wisdom cuts through this fog. Marcus Aurelius said it clearly: if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. In other words, don't move from guilt. Don't speak from pressure. Move only from alignment with your reason. Picture Natalie, a junior analyst at a large firm. Her manager, Paul, once guided her, defended her, even praised her in front of directors. She was grateful, and in her mind, she owed him. Then came the requests. Cover my mistakes. Stay late for my unfinished work. Speak on my behalf when I don't want the heat. Each request carried the silent undertone. After all I've done for you, this is the least you could do. Natalie said yes again and again until the day Paul asked her to alter numbers in a report. She hesitated. He leaned in and reminded her, I gave you your start. Don't forget that. In that moment, she realized the truth. Her gratitude had been weaponized. The line was not crossed, it was erased. Gratitude is beautiful, but when it demands the sacrifice of your peace or your principles, it mutates into self-betrayal. A Stoic doesn't repay kindness with submission. They repay it with integrity. If someone helps you, you thank them. If you can, you reciprocate. But you never surrender your dignity for the illusion of loyalty. Because once guilt becomes the currency that governs your actions, you are no longer free. You are being purchased, piece by piece. Another story. Kevin, a man devoted to his community project, found himself in need of housing. Linda, a senior organizer, helped him find a place. Kevin was grateful, deeply so. Months later, Linda began asking him to co-sign documents, to take responsibility for events he had not planned, even to lie to other members. When Kevin hesitated, she pressed, "Where would you be right now if I hadn't helped you?" Once again, gratitude was forged into shackles, and Kevin had to learn what Stoicism teaches plainly. Serve not from compulsion, but from conviction. There is a world of difference between being kind and being controlled. So how do you know your limits? Ask first, am I acting from principle or from fear? If the only reason you say yes is dread of disappointing or appearing ungrateful, then stop. Second, what is the cost? Not just in time, but in dignity, in clarity, in peace. If the price is resentment, the answer is no. Third, is the relationship balanced? Do both give and receive? Or does one only take while the other withers in silence? Knowing your limits isn't selfish, it is wise. The Stoics were not passive, they were discerning. They helped, but not at the expense of their compass. Seneca wrote that no man can live happily if he turns everything to his own purposes. Yet no man can live fulfilled if he gives everything away without thought. Balance is virtue. Extremes are chains. Here is the truth in its sharpest form. You are allowed to say no, even to someone who once helped you, even to someone you care for, even to someone who insists you owe them. What you truly owe is honesty to your reason, to your peace, to your values. If you give beyond your limits, you will break. If you serve without boundaries, you will sour. If you are led by guilt, you are not in a bond of friendship. You are in a trap. And when you say no, you don't need to cloak it in justifications. A quiet, firm, "I can't do that" is enough. If someone tries to belittle you for protecting your edge, that is their manipulation, not your failure. Your life is not a debt to be collected in favors. True generosity springs from freedom, not coercion. A favor that turns into a leash was never a gift. It was bait. So let your choices be born of clarity, not guilt. From principle, not pressure. From reason, not emotional blackmail. When you know your limits, you don't just shield yourself. You teach others how to approach you with honesty. And remember this, your worth is not measured by how much of yourself you give away, but by how faithfully you guard what matters most. Hold that line, protect that edge. If this truth resonates, drop a simple comment below. Just write boundaries and let it be your silent vow. And if you wish to keep walking this Stoic path with me, consider subscribing so these lessons meet you right when you need them most. Because once you learn to set limits without shame, you are ready for the next lesson. The quiet strength of silence and the power it holds when others demand explanations you do not owe. That is where we now turn. Entering the 5th chapter, imagine a simple question tossed across the table, sounding harmless, almost kind. Yet beneath its surface lies intent, not to know you, but to chart you, to map the places where you are weakest. In a world that praises openness, that tells you to be real and speak your truth, it's easy to forget. Not all curiosity is born of compassion. Some questions are not bridges, they are traps. The Stoics understood this. They valued clarity, but they also valued caution. Epictetus reminded us that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason to listen twice as much as we speak. This is not just humility, it is strategy. It is a guard for the inner citadel, the unseen walls that keep your core safe. Because what you say about yourself, especially when you believe it harmless, may be exactly what a cunning mind needs to turn your honesty into exposure. Consider Michael, a man admired for his openness. He entered a new mall and quickly bonded with a coworker, Darren. Darren was attentive, curious, always asking about Michael's past, his insecurities, his strained family ties. Flattered, Michael poured himself out. He spoke of regrets, doubts, the places where he felt small. Darren listened but revealed nothing of his own. Months later, in a performance review, Michael was ambushed. His manager voiced concerns about his lack of confidence, about family distractions, words that Michael had only ever whispered to Darren. His story had been repackaged, his openness transformed into a weapon. And Darren walked away unscathed, rising in the shadows of what Michael had revealed. That is the lesson. Manipulators don't always need lies to undo you. They just need you to hand them the knife. They don't strike directly. They wait, asking the right questions, harvesting vulnerability until your own words become their leverage. Now imagine Lena, who trusted her cousin Rachel more than anyone. After a painful breakup, she poured her heart out. Hours of confession, raw details, all placed into Rachel's quiet hands. Rachel gave no advice, offered little of herself, only listened. A week later, Lena's private pain became public whispers. Relatives repeating her most personal stories, twisted, judged, and thrown back at her. The breakup didn't destroy her. The betrayal did. What binds Michael and Lena together is this. They revealed too much too quickly to those who never earned the right to carry it. They mistook curiosity for care. They confused attention for closeness. And they paid with exposure. So how do you protect yourself? Stoicism offers timeless guidance. First, observe before you speak. Real connection is mutual. If one hand only takes while the other only gives, it is not dialogue. It is interrogation. Be mindful of imbalance. Second, practice the discipline of silence. Not every silence needs filling. Not every question deserves an answer. Let others earn your trust slowly through consistency, not charm. Third, share with intention. Words should have purpose, not just release. Speak to connect, not to unload. Speak to build, not to bleed. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." I would add, the soul also carries the marks of the company it keeps and of the truths it gives away too freely. Every time you reveal yourself, you give a piece of your inner life. Choose carefully who receives it because not all hands are steady enough to hold it. You are not cold for being cautious. You are not cruel for being reserved. You are wise for recognizing that your inner life is not public property. You do not owe your story to anyone who asks. And if they push harder, if they guilt you or frame your restraint as selfishness, see it clearly. That is manipulation, raw and unclothed. You don't have to live in silence. You just have to choose more wisely. Your past, your wounds, your victories, these are sacred. Share them only with those who honor them. Some will misread your caution as aloofness. Let them. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to remain whole. Think of it this way. A fortress is not a prison. Its gates are not closed forever, but they open for the worthy, for those who prove themselves with time, action, and reciprocity. That is how you honor both trust and truth. A person who guards what they reveal moves through the world with quiet strength. They are unreadable, not because they hide, but because they are intact, whole, complete. Their story is not scattered in the mouths of strangers. It is kept and given only with care. So listen to yourself. If you walk away from a conversation feeling lighter, seen, and safe, you have likely spoken to someone who deserved your truth. But if you leave feeling exposed, uneasy, or off balance, trust that voice inside. It is telling you this was not a safe place. Honor it. You don't owe the world your vulnerability. You owe yourself your peace. And when you guard it with quiet strength, no mask, no tactic, no manipulator can ever truly reach you. From here, the journey shifts. We've learned how to defend what is fragile. Your fears, your judgment, your gun, your limits, your voice. Those defenses are not walls to hide behind, but foundations to stand on. And once they are in place, the question changes. Not only how to resist, but how to live. Not only how to protect, but how to shape. This is the turning point from surviving the schemes of others to designing a life so steady and intentional that no scheme can take root. As we step into the next chapter, imagine yourself holding a blank scroll, pen in hand, knowing that every line you write will quietly govern how you move through life. The world will try to write on that scroll for you. Parents, colleagues, strangers, even those who claim friendship while hiding calculation. If you leave it open, their ink will define your story. But when you write it yourself with clarity and resolve, no hand can seize the pen from you. This is where strength begins. In the conscious act of drafting your own constitution, not of a nation, but of a life, rules carved not in stone, but in conviction. Marcus Aurelius spoke often to himself in his journals, reminding his own mind of the laws he lived by. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Such words were not written for applause. They were boundaries laid down so that no moment of flattery, no rush of anger, no tug of manipulation could pull him from his path. Picture a man named Adrian. For years, he lived as a leaf in the wind. When his boss pressured him, he bent. When his friends joked at his expense, he laughed along though it stung. When a partner guilted him, he yielded. He was not weak of body or talent, but weak of principle, because he had never taken the time to decide what he stood for. One evening, after yet another day of concessions, he sat with a notebook and began writing simple sentences. I do not lie to protect another's laziness. I do not give my time without respect. I do not silence my voice to keep false peace. Line by line, he formed his charter. And from that night forward, when pressure came, he measured it against those words. And he walked straighter, spoke firmer, lived freer. The trap most fall into is believing principles must be grand speeches, when in truth they are practical guardrails. A rule like I do not make commitments in haste, or I do not defend myself against gossip. These small lines turn chaos into clarity. For when temptation or manipulation arrives, you are no longer improvising under fire. You are consulting law already written in your heart. Seneca wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." To craft your constitution is to choose your port. Otherwise, every voice becomes a tide dragging you towards shores not your own. With a constitution, you may still face storms, but you sail with compass in hand. You know what you allow, what you refuse, what you endure, and what you walk away from. Consider Maya, a teacher admired for her kindness. Students loved her, colleagues sought her out, but her generosity became the very tool used against her. Extra work piled on her desk, favors whispered into her ear. Each time she said yes, a little of her peace eroded until one day she returned home exhausted and saw her young daughter waiting at the door with a book she had promised to read. She realized her constitution had been written by others, line by line. Say yes to avoid conflict. Say yes to be liked. Say yes to be useful. That night, she tore that charter apart and began again. Her new lines were harder, cleaner. My family comes before work. I do not owe. My time is not an endless well. I teach with love, but I do not serve at the expense of my health. From then on, her yes carried weight because it was rare, chosen, and aligned. Here lies the heart of it. Manipulators flourish where your laws are vague. If you do not define yourself, they will define you. If you do not set your limits, they will stretch you thin. If you do not declare what you serve, they will make you serve them. But when your constitution is written and lived, their whispers hit a wall, their traps find no purchase. Their games turn hollow. Drafting such a charter is not an act of pride, but of humility. It is saying to yourself, I'm not strong enough to improvise every time. I need reminders. I need boundaries. I need words I can return to when the moment tries to sweep me away. It is the act of respecting yourself enough to leave no decision entirely to impulse. So take the time, write 5 lines that would keep you steady even in your brightest or darkest hour. Test them, refine them, live by them, and when life presses, hold them up like a shield. You will be surprised how much quieter the world becomes when your heart already knows what it will not betray. Your life is not meant to drift by chance. The choice is yours, the direction is yours, the scroll belongs to you. And when you live by the words you choose, you will find a calm certainty that no manipulator, no flatterer, no cunning hand can shake. And once this inner charter is drawn, another skill must rise alongside it. The strength of silence itself. For when you know what you stand for, the most powerful answer is often no answer at all. That is the ground we will tread next. Tread. Moving into the second step of this new path. Picture the weight of silence hanging in a crowded room. A question is asked. All eyes turn, and instead of rushing to fill the space, you wait. That pause unsettles. It shifts the power. In a culture addicted to noise, silence becomes the rarest weapon. And in the hands of one who knows how to wield it, silence does not shrink you, it enlarges you. Here's where many stumble. They think power lies in always having the last word, in drowning out the other with explanations or defenses. But what if strength is found in restraint? The Stoics believed it. Though Epictetus urged his students not to be drawn into every argument, not to justify themselves to every ear. For the more you explain, the more you reveal, and the more you reveal, the more you hand to those eager to twist your words. Consider the story of Daniel. In his office, he became known as the man who always defended himself, always explained. When rumors surfaced, he drafted long emails to clarify. When accused of mistakes, he gave lengthy justifications, and still the whispers persisted. One day, after yet another barrage of half-truths, he chose silence. He listened, nodded once, and left the room. No denial, no defense, no attempt to convince. Days later, the storm died down on its own. The same colleagues who once circled him with suspicion grew uneasy in the face of his calm. His silence became his verdict. Why does this work? Because manipulators thrive on reaction. They bait you with words designed to provoke. If you take the bait, they gain a map of your emotions, a script for the next trap. But when you meet provocation with stillness, they find nothing. Silence denies them the satisfaction of control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy, and often the best shield is not to fight their way at all." Now imagine a family dinner where subtle barbs are thrown. You're accused of being distant, selfish, ungrateful. The natural instinct is to defend yourself, to prove them wrong with a flood of words. Yet, you choose stillness. You let the words echo and dissolve. That silence forces the accuser to sit with their own echo, to feel the weight of words no longer softened by your explanations. Silence is not weakness here. It is the refusal to dance to a song you did not choose. There is a discipline to this. It takes courage to resist the itch to explain, to remain still while others misjudge you. But every time you hold back from unnecessary words, you strengthen your command over yourself. And that is a command no one can steal. Seneca once observed, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Think of how much life is wasted in endless justifications, in words tossed to those who never intended to understand. Silence, however, is not the same as withdrawal. It is not the sulk of one who hides, but the choice of one who sees clearly. It is the pause that unsettles gossip, the space that exposes lies, the calm that reveals who is truly in control. When used with intention, silence is not absence. It is presence amplified. But beware, silence is not always the answer. There are moments where truth must be spoken, where injustice must be named. Yet even then, the Stoic teaches us to measure words, to let them be few but firm. Words forged in silence carry more weight than words spilled in haste. Think again of Daniel. When he finally did speak, it was not to defend himself against every rumor, but to state a single principle. "I will be judged by my work, not by whispers." He said no more. That single sentence, carved from weeks of silence, reshaped the atmosphere. His voice had become like iron, scarce, deliberate, undeniable. This is where your own practice begins. Train yourself to hold back the reflex to explain. Let a pause live before your answers. Watch how people feel it. Some will grow nervous. Some will expose more than they intended. And you will learn that silence often tells you more than words ever could. From here, the message is clear. Your power does not lie in proving yourself at every turn, but in knowing when not to. The one who can remain silent without shrinking, who can withhold without fear, carries an authority manipulators cannot touch. And once you understand this, another challenge awaits. The careful shaping of your circle, the courage to choose who is near and who must remain at a distance. That is the ground we step onto next. Advancing to the third chapter, picture yourself standing in the middle of a crowded square. Voices swirling, faces pressing close. Some approach with open hands, others with hidden daggers, but all disguised in the same smile. In such a place, the real question is not whether you will meet people, but whom you will allow near. For not every handshake deserves your trust, and not every presence deserves your energy. Here's where the Stoics bring us clarity. Your circle shapes your soul. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the mind becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. But what he did not need to add, because he lived it, is that the people you allow close are the ones who drip the die. If they carry bitterness, you will wear it. If they carry deceit, it will stain you. And if they carry steadiness, their calm will color you too. So the question becomes urgent. Who belongs inside the gate? And who must remain at a distance? Think of Sarah, a woman admired for her generosity. She never said no. Her home was always open, her phone always on. Over time, her circle grew crowded, not with friends, but with takers. The more she gave, the more they came. Some whispered their support to her face and mocked her when she left. Others leaned on her kindness as if it were endless fuel. Sarah didn't notice the shift at first. She mistook attention for affection. Until one night, after a long day, she sat in her kitchen alone and realized something chilling. She was surrounded, but she was not supported. She had filled her circle with hands that drained, not hearts that gave. This is the danger. When you do not choose your circle, the world chooses it for you, and the world is not careful with such choices. Manipulators slip in easily because they are masters at appearing what you long for: supportive, attentive, invested. But as Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. If a presence does not make you better, it is making you smaller. Now imagine the opposite. A man named Victor kept his circle small, not out of arrogance, but out of discipline. He believed in testing time, watching patterns, and letting consistency prove character. Many misunderstood him. They called him distant, aloof, selective. Yet when hardship came, his circle did not scatter. They stood. They gave what he had once given them. His small group, chosen with care, became a fortress more powerful than any wall he could build alone. His restraint, mocked by many, became the very reason he thrived where others collapsed. This is the wisdom. Distance is not cruelty, it is stewardship. Just as you would not let anyone walk through your home without regard, you must not let anyone walk freely through your mind or your heart. Guard the gates, not to shut life out, but to ensure that only those who honor it are allowed in. How do you begin this? First, observe how people handle your boundaries. If someone bristles at your no, they were not seeking relationship. They were seeking control. Second, notice the balance. Do they give as much as they take, even if what they give is presence, honesty, or respect? Third, watch what remains after they leave. Do you feel lighter or do you feel drained? These are not small signals. They are the language of truth spoken without words. The Stoics knew the cost of careless company. Epictetus told his students that if they linger with the idle, they will learn idleness. If they linger with the angry, they will learn anger. We become what surrounds us, and that truth is as sharp today as it was in Rome. So let us draw the line with courage. Better to stand with a few who are true than a crowd that is empty. Better to be thought cold for a season than to be consumed by a circle that feeds on your fire. This is not isolation, it is cultivation. You're not closing yourself off. You're planting yourself in soil that will nourish, not poison. And here is the paradox. When you choose carefully, you will never need to wonder if you are alone, because even in solitude, you will carry the presence of those who lift, not leech. Your silence will not be empty, but filled with the echo of voices you know to be true. That is what it means to build a circle worth keeping. From here, the lesson deepens. For once you know who belongs close and who must remain at arm's length. The next step is to master the very channels of connection themselves, to learn how agreements, words, and exchanges can be shaped so that truth stands firm and manipulation slips away. That is the ground we will walk upon next. Here's where the journey sharpens into the quiet mechanics of power that most overlook. Words, promises, agreements. They seem small, invisible threads, but once woven, they can bind you tighter than chains. Manipulators understand this well. They thrive in the fog of half-said things, the blur of spoken commitments never clarified. And if you are careless with the channels of your own voice, they will shape it for you. Imagine a conversation at work. A colleague suggests casually, "You'll help me with this project, right?" We talked about it. You hesitate, thinking back, uncertain if you ever agreed, but you nod anyway, not wanting to seem forgetful. Days later, the expectation is set, And when you resist, you're accused of breaking your word. A trap has been sprung, not with force, but with vagueness. This is how your silence, your lack of clarity can be used to bend you. The Stoics understood the sanctity of words. Seneca wrote that promises should be as carefully made as oaths to the gods. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that a man's worth is measured by the alignment of his speech with his deeds. To control your channel means to ensure that your words are not loose currency in another's pocket, but coins of steel, deliberate and precise. Let me tell you of Clara Ara. She worked in a nonprofit where passion often blurred into chaos. Tasks were handed out in corridors, agreements made in rushed conversations. Clara Ara, eager to help, often said yes without clarity. Soon she was drowning, blamed for work she never agreed to, held to expectations she had never confirmed. Then she changed her approach. Every request she received, she repeated back in writing. Here's what I understand. This is what I can do by this date. Suddenly the fog lifted. The manipulators in her orbit, those who thrived on shifting blame, had no ground to stand on. Her words became her shield. Documentation is not bureaucracy. It is self-respect. It is saying I value my time, my energy, my integrity too much to let it be reshaped by memory or manipulation. The written word, clear and calm, cuts through lies faster than any argument. A simple line after a meeting, as we agreed, I'll deliver this by Friday, and you'll provide those numbers by Thursday, becomes a sword and a shield. For when the storm comes, you no longer need to shout. You simply show. Think of relationships outside of work. How often are people caught in webs spun from vague promises? You said you'd always be there. You agreed to help me anytime. Remember when you promised? Did you? Or did you speak in the haze of guilt or flattery only to see it sharpened into a contract you never meant to sign? Epictetus would urge us to remember. Control what is in your power. Release what is not. Your clarity is in your power. Others' distortions are not. Here lies the heart. Clarity is kindness. When you state your boundaries, your limits, your commitments, you prevent disappointment later. Ambiguity serves only those who wish to twist. Clarity serves both. And in a world thick with half-truths and urgent demands, the one who slows down, who sets things in writing, who insists on precision, is the one who cannot be cornered. Picture another story. A small business owner named David worked with vendors who often shifted terms midstream. He lost money, time, trust. Then he changed one habit. Every agreement, no matter how small, was followed by a written note. This is what we've decided. It was not dramatic. It was not confrontational, but it was final. Suddenly, the shifting sands beneath his feet hardened. Those who once thrived in shadows grew frustrated, and one by one they disappeared, replaced by partners who valued integrity. This is not about mistrust. It is about wisdom. You can love deeply, trust openly, and still insist that what is agreed upon be clear. For as Marcus wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And I would add, your life becomes dyed with the color of your agreements. If they are vague, your life will be muddied. If they are clear, your life will be steady. So take this discipline into your days. Let your words be few but firm. Let your commitments be rare but real. And let your agreements be written not because you doubt, but because you honor both yourself and the other. In a time, you will see the power shift. No longer can anyone claim you said what you did not. No longer can guilt or distortion be fastened around your neck. And remember this, noise collapses in the face of record. Lies stumble when truth is steady. A manipulator thrives on air. But when you anchor words to earth, their wings break. From here, the road leads to the final test, the art of walking away. For there are times when no constitution, no silence, no clarity will protect you as much as a clean exit. And that, my friend, is where we now turn. Entering the final chapter, picture a long corridor with doors on both sides. Some open into light, some into shadows, and some into rooms where you no longer belong. You feel the pull to linger, to negotiate, to explain why you must leave. But the greatest power sometimes comes not in what you say, but in what you refuse to continue. Walking away calm, deliberate, final is not weakness. It is sovereignty. Now imagine a woman named Elise. For years, she endured a partnership that drained her spirit. Every conversation became a battlefield of guilt. every silence a suffocating weight. She told herself it would change, that loyalty meant endurance. One day she stood in front of the mirror and asked a question she could no longer avoid. If I stay, who will I become? The answer was clear, and it frightened her. She packed her things, closed the door, and never returned. There were no angry speeches, no fireworks, just a clean exit. And in that silence, she reclaimed her life. This is where the Stoics stand beside us. Epictetus taught that freedom begins the moment you learn to say, "This is not within my control." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he could step aside from chaos at any moment, and peace would be waiting. To walk away is not to escape. It is to choose. It is to recognize that dignity is not preserved by clinging to what corrodes you, but by turning toward what keeps you whole. Think of how often we stay in places long after their season has ended. We linger in friendships that have soured, in marriages that have hollowed us, in arguments that circle endlessly. Why? Because leaving feels like defeat, but the truth is sharper. Staying where we no longer belong is the real defeat. The manipulator thrives on that hesitation. They feed on your reluctance to exit. They know if they can keep you explaining, apologizing, hesitating, they still hold the leash. A story from history brings this into focus. Cato the Younger, a Stoic statesman of Rome, was known for his unyielding integrity. When political life became poisoned by corruption, he could no longer influence. He did not bargain with it. He withdrew. His absence was louder than any protest he could have made. His refusal to participate became its own form of resistance. His exit was not cowardice, it was clarity. Walking away is not about abandonment, it is about alignment. Ask yourself, does this space honor my values or erode them? Does this relationship strengthen my soul or siphon it? If the answer cuts against you, then your path is already decided. The step out the door is not betrayal of another. It is fidelity to yourself. Let's look closer at why a clean exit matters. When you leave messily arguing, defending, explaining, you remain entangled. You give the manipulator more thread to weave their narrative. But when you leave with calm finality, you deny them material. Silence seals the chapter. You're no longer a character in their story. You have chosen your own. Consider David, a young entrepreneur who once partnered with a mentor he admired. Over time, he realized the guidance was manipulation. Contracts signed under pressure, profits siphoned under the guise of mentorship. Every time David tried to confront, the mentor twisted the words, painting David as ungrateful. One day, David stopped arguing. He terminated the contract, handed over what was due, and walked out without a backward glance. The mentor raged, but David was gone. His clean exit became the line that freed him, not only legally, but spiritually. Seneca wrote, "Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future." To cling to toxic ties is to neglect the present, to fear the future so much that you accept the chains of now. Walking away is not about rejecting responsibility. It is about refusing bondage. But how do you prepare for such a step? First, close the leaks. Manipulators thrive on unfinished business, shared passwords, lingering obligations, vague commitments. Tidy the edges, gather your resources, document what must be documented. Then when the moment comes, leave with finality. Second, craft one closing line if words must be spoken. Short, calm, complete. No explanations beyond what is required. Third, expect the storm. Manipulators will protest, rage, plead, guilt. That is the nature of their dependence. But storms, however violent, burn themselves out. Your task is not to fight it, but to keep walking. A friend once told me the hardest lesson he learned was this: not every door deserves to be closed with a conversation. Some doors are best shut in silence because the one on the other side already knows why. They only want to draw you back into the game. And if you answer, you are playing again. Here is the paradox of departure. Leaving is not an ending, it is a beginning. The space created by your exit becomes the ground where freedom grows. New relationships, new work, new peace. All of it flows only when your hands are no longer clinging to what poisoned them. Marcus Aurelius urged himself to live each day as if it were a completed life. What does that mean here, Tumafin? It means leaving without regret, without unfinished threads. It means ensuring that when you walk out, you do so cleanly with dignity intact. Your past may murmur, but it cannot command you. Your future awaits. And remember this truth. You do not have to slam the door to make a point. Sometimes the simplest step away resounds louder than 1,000 words, because in that sound is sovereignty. In that sound is self-respect. In that sound is the final refusal to be played. So if you find yourself standing in the corridor of choices, hand on the handle of a door that has long ceased to serve you, breathe deep, step through and do not look back. For the moment you do, you will discover the lesson that every Stoic knew. Freedom is not given, it is taken by those willing to walk away. And from this final step, the circle is complete. For you have guarded your fears, disciplined your mind, tempered your bomb, held your limits, protected your truths, shaped your charter, mastered your silence, chosen your circle, clarified your words, and at last claimed the courage to leave. What remains is not survival, but strength, not reaction, but rule, not noise, but clarity. And this, more than any trick of the manipulator, is the life of one who cannot be owned. The world holds shadows, yet wisdom lets you walk with clarity and courage. Let growth be your shield. Subscribe to keep strengthening this path and comment. Stay sharp as your vow. Ahead lies deeper mastery, and you are ready for